It starts with us. This is Lori. 43024. Democracy. Freedom for the greater good of all. A Voice in the Dark production with Lori Elliot. We are only as free as we see it fit. What say ye? I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I get into the me sometimes and the propaganda and the bullshit. Who doesn't? We allow ourselves to get emotionally wrapped up for a moment, or sometimes forever. The thing is that democracy was always set up as to look after all people. It was to be a balancing act, which it is, between what our greater needs are and what our other needs are. And we kind of divvy it up a little bit so that we can have a little bit for everybody. And I guess what I'm concerned with is that when we are watching our country being shaken down and shaken like a rag doll, and I don't understand what the people are doing. The circus that's going on is phenomenally ignorant, and it is the powers that be that are pushing to see how much you'll take. They want to see how just damn dumb we are, how much we'll take. Because, it says right there in the Constitution that, humans have always shown that when it's upside down and when things are bad, they'll take so much bad until it becomes unbearably bad. What are we waiting for? Why are we waiting until it comes to arms or fighting, physical? What are we waiting for? I guess I just don't understand. Why aren't we putting our foot down and saying, hey, knock this shit off? Look, I've been a mom and a single mom all my life, and I raised 2 kids by myself, and we managed to get a house, and they each got a car, and I help with my granddaughter. I'm telling you, anything can be done, because if I could make it through what I've made it through, and I've had bankruptcy before, and I've had to, fight for my home through 2 foreclosures, but I ended up keeping my home. There are ways to help yourself. There are ways to, if you really want it. And I guess that's one of the big things I've come to at this point in my life is that, the universe is asking me, well, you claim you want this and this, but you're showing that you're just quite content where you're at. And I'm like, well, it's because I wanted peace and quiet. I've been, wanting peace and quiet in my own home, and it's had enough update a little bit to make me a little happier. And, but for me, being wealthy is being peaceful and calm, because I grew up in a household that, had a lot of yelling and screaming when I was a kid. So I had PTSD, whatever you call it. I didn't find that out until years later, like in my 60s. And the thing is that there's been this phenomenal stupidity going on with our government and the powers that be. I mean, the whole country has gone mad, and I don't understand what we're not doing about it. I don't understand why our voices aren't being heard in our local governments, in our state governments, and in our federal government. We have voices. Why are we not using them? I know that it's easy to sit and be an armchair, debater, over what's happening. And I know that we're all tied up busy with, family and just trying to keep the peace at home because, the rest of the world's gone absolutely crazy. However, we need to take a few minutes every day not to watch the news so much. I mean, I like to pick one topic, and I look at it, and then I think, okay. So sometimes I'll put together a letter for Congress and the Senate, which if we don't do that and we don't use our voices, and our voices can be a written email, you know, but you can't do it in a negative, ugly way. It has to be professionally done, or at least verbally done, that firm that we're not going to put up with this. Knock it off. And all this transgender crap and stuff, they're doing all this crazy crap that doesn't make any sense to any of us, to keep us occupied from what they're trying to do around the world. And they are trying desperately to put the New World Order in, and I say no. No New World Order, not like that. I say we make sure every country gets democracy, and it's for the greater good of all, but the people are the ones that have to keep it legal. They have to keep it upright and for the greater good of all. And you can't fall for feeling powerless and them using memes and propaganda to make you feel even more powerless against one topic or two. It's ludicrous. There are so many other topics, and the budget's huge, and the bulk of the budget is actually used on war. And if you read the Constitution, this is why we've been at war for the last 40 years. Because it says in the Constitution, if we are not at war for 2 years in a row, we eliminate the military. Well, we've made that a military machine. We've made it something that big businesses are relying on for them to maintain. It's become a business instead of what it was supposed to be, which was a military to protect us. And I'm not saying we've got to abolish the military, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that if that's where the bulk of our tax money's going to, we don't need to be giving the rich, the wealthiest, tax write-offs. The tax write-offs were so big that we ended up paying Walmart almost $300 million back in taxes. Tax breaks. You know, the government paid them. That's more than most of us. Well, that's more than I'll ever see. Pretty sure, for any kind of 1 year thing. And that ain't right. So I want to know what your voices are really saying out there. Are you going to get beyond the stupid stuff? We got to have abortions, and the reason we legalized them was so we could keep an eye on the abortion doctors so that they didn't hurt the women. If you families out there that are so against abortion, you just need to turn your head. But the thing is that if you're not going to be for abortion, then you better be for feeding the poor and feeding children that are born. Period. You can't have it both ways. There are so many things that I see so outlandish going on right now, and we don't pay for the abortions. We pay for the family planning. Do you know that the only thing that brought the abortion counts down was family planning, because we provided birth control? I don't care how many times you tell your kids, oh, abstain, abstain. It's not going to work, because our physical bodies are made to be triggered at a certain age to want it and explore it. It's part of the animal nature of our bodies to procreate. Now, the reason we come up with birth control is so we can have fun and not procreate too soon or too many. Anyway, I just need someone out there that has a little common sense to say, hey, yes, we do have a voice, and yes, we should be using it, and we'll use it more. My faith is in God. And I understand that there's a lot of religious leaders out there that would argue with me right now that, oh, well, no. And God's doing this. God's, well, there are some stories that you don't know about, that the human race keeps getting squelched on ascension to heaven. We don't go automatically to heaven. We go to a recycling place. And we come back and do lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. because they like our energy. Matrix movie was pretty similar, but different. But the theory was about right. The thing is that it's not our fault that we keep going to war. The elites make those moves. We don't. But we need to stand up to our own governments. And this is for the people of the world, because the people of the world have the rights. We have rights. And nobody seems to understand that we have a right to stand up and verbalize and say, we don't want this. It's a no. It's an ixnay on that. And if you're going to treat the United States of America like you're, what do you call it, a military elite, what do you call those guys? I'll think of it a little bit. But mercenaries. There you go. If you're going to treat us like mercenaries around the world, the elite, then they need to pay us like they would mercenaries for the whole country, because we all pay for it when we go to war for them. I'm tired of us not looking at the bigger picture and just burying our heads like little ostriches and thinking, oh, it'll go away, or oh, I'll just put it in God's hands, or this. Well, God gave you a brain, and He gave all of us a brain, and He said, use it for God's sakes, and use your voice. Stand up. When are you going to stand up? And the New Age movement has totally been infiltrated. This being happy as a lark bullshit and acting like, oh, it'll all be good, is a lie. It's an out-and-out lie. They're trying to take over our world, and they're trying to take over the United States and bust it up into 7 different countries. Read the writing on the wall, please. Look at the bigger picture. This is not going to happen, at least not on my watch. Is it going to happen on your watch? We cannot sit idly by and think that this, they're trying to tell us in religion that, oh, this is meant to happen, it's supposed to happen, and has to happen, so that all these, so that we actually get where we're supposed to go. Well, I don't believe that. I think it's all poppycock. And you might disagree with me, but I think it is. I think where we get screwed as souls here, and we keep recycling and recycling, is because we don't stand up. They keep telling us when we croak and we get to that white light and we get in that tunnel, they beat us at the other side, and they say, oh, well, here, you know, you didn't do this right and you didn't do this right, so we're going to have you go through it again. Well, let me tell you something about our souls. Our souls are golden light beings. They're from the 9th dimension. They aren't even from this area. We slipped in here accidentally. And eventually we kept coming back, and then eventually we forgot who the hell we were. But let me tell you something. Our souls are perfect. So when you get to that white light, tell them, no, I quit. Your soul's perfect. It always will be. It always has been. We're beautiful golden light beings. We're happy little fucks. That's what we are. Now, down here, it's a little different, because you know what? The game here is a little different. So, I didn't mean to get all excited, but I can't help it. I care about our souls. I'm here for that fight. And I'm here for the fight that we're going into the 5th dimension, and by God, we're going to have a democracy. And I want the whole world to have a democracy. Every country. And I want the people to be part of it. All people. And we don't have to nursemaid the poverty ones. There's people grow at different levels. And sometimes that soul that's in the really pathetic, what we call pathetic position, you know, no home, no job, and they're eating off the streets and whatever and sleeping on the streets, that might be God. We're all kind of gods anyway, because we're all an integral part of God. But the thing is that might be a higher ranked being than you in the scheme of things out there. But their path needed this experience, so they took it. So we can't judge people, because we don't know. We don't know who's on what path and where their level of growth is. We have no clue, and it's none of our business anyway. Our business is to be full of empathy and compassion. No. Do we have to feed and clothe them and give them everything we have? Hell no. But $38 to $42 a month out of our tax money is what goes to help people like that. It helps them with food, helps them with a little shelter sometimes, but very seldom because they're almost all living on the streets. Other charities help them. It helps with people that are poor that have children in the home so that they eat and they're healthy, and the parent can be healthy because the parent's working. The illusion that all poor people that are on Medicaid and food stamps don't work, that's bullshit. Most of us worked. I worked. And I got food stamps and I got a medical card. And I was really thankful because when my daughter, when she was almost 2 years old, fell over with a bottle in her mouth, you know, playing with the nipple. But there was just one little bitty nick on that bottle piece. And it split her tongue in half like a snake tongue. Oh my God. So I waited and got a really good surgeon, went in, because I found the best surgeon I could in the 2-state area. And I went in and told him, I said, I can't pay you because I didn't have any insurance. I was a waitress. And he looked at me and he said, you don't have a medical card? I said, no. He goes, you have too much pride to go get a medical card. I said, yes. He said, go get one, Lori. They'll pay me, but I'm going to take care of your daughter either way. I said, thank you. So really good surgeon, really good guy. So I did go get our Medicaid because I didn't want another problem to ever come up again and I couldn't pay for it. And so, you know, she got her surgery and Medicaid took care of it. And they have a different, you're all ignorant about how that works because you've never been on it, the ones that are bitching about it. Medicaid has a different standard that they pay, that they're willing to pay, okay? And the doctors have to go with it. That's why a lot of doctors and dentists and different types of therapy and chiropractors and all that don't take Medicaid. That's why you see a lot of people that are poor with bad teeth because, you know, it's hard to find a good dentist that'll take you in when you got Medicaid. I'm on Medicaid again because I'm retired. But anyway, what I'm trying to explain is that it's a measly $38 to $42 a month out of your tax money per household that goes to cover all this. And so quit. What I'm trying to say is educate yourself well enough to understand how these programs work so that we stop fighting with each other. We stop dividing. Learn where the money goes. Robert Reich, he's really good. And some people, especially Republicans, think, oh, no, he's a liberal. Well, the thing is he's actually, what I have found, is very honest. That's it. And he's honest on both sides. And you have to listen to the ones he does for issues. And I agree with him that Trump is a criminal and he should be charged. And I don't want a criminal as my president ever again. And the thing is there's other issues about our presidencies that come from long lines of one royal family, royal household out of England, and all but one. I think it was number 6. But I haven't studied that enough to really give you any information, so I'm just throwing that out there because I just read it the other day. So, but the thing is that I don't want a criminal in there anymore. I don't want somebody that says, oh, here he riles people up and gets them all excited and blah, blah, blah. But it's only because he can rob us blind. He can get in there and steal what he can to sell on the open market to the highest bidder because he's always in financial trouble. I just want us to be real and honest about everything. Do I want Biden in there? Hell no. I don't trust him either. And I don't trust half of the Democratic Party in there. And I know that's sad. No, I wouldn't say half. I'd say a third because some have gotten out of there. But my biggest concerns is Congress and the Supreme Court. Now, the president's not such a big deal because he really doesn't have very much in power. What we want to look at is the Senate and the Congress. Congress has way too much power, and they have way too long a tenure. And I'm still researching that, so I won't say any more on it because I'm not that educated on it. But I have heard. And so I'm looking into it. I'll keep you updated. And the Senate, well, we see how that goes. But it was never about us being against each other. It was about being for our own people, okay? Because there are different classes and groups of people in this country. What it was so that we could come to the table and make revisions and make the best we could to cover what everybody needed. It was to come together and be able to represent each side, but not to be against each other. Don't you see? Division is what tears a country up, or a good democracy. And regulations, we need to put them all back in. Somehow they got around all of them. And what is this crap we're eating for food? And how come we're not producing our own damn food? And how come it's not healthy enough to eat? How come we're all sick? How come we're all having stomach and gut problems? Wake up, please. If you don't want to wake up for your soul's growth, wake up for your damn personal growth. Get off the damn phones and get off the internet. I'm guilty of it too. And then you wouldn't hear me if you get off of it completely. But that's okay. I'm going to think about getting my own radio station eventually. But the thing is that educate yourselves. That's our responsibility as being the citizens of the United States of America. And I say we make a choice on a new president and a new party. And don't worry, I mean, Robert Kennedy doesn't even know who the hell I am. But I say we make a choice on him only because he's different. Granted, his family wrote him off years ago. Well, it's because he was a drug addict. And you know how families get with drug addicts. We've all, almost every one of us, have been touched by it some form, or alcoholism. And it gets tedious and you write them off. So, but here's a man who built himself back up from that on his own. He created himself now. This is his new self. And I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of friends that have been clean and sober for years. Would you want to hate them too? What I'm saying is because the president doesn't have that much power, not real power. He's a figurehead. That's it. But the Senate and Congress will get the hint that the American people are tired of this. And we're willing to take a risk to make a change. Just like our forefathers did, except maybe we can do it with our voices and our votes instead of guns and violence. And I won't even go into that issue right now. And the immigrants that have come into this country through Texas, and now they're coming up through the upper northern states through Canada, and they are from all over the world. They're being deliberately brought into this country so that they can wreak havoc. They're paid to do this. So how long are you going to let the circus run before you use your voice? You know, write an email to your senator and your president and your Congress. Do something. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting in a position that nobody in this country will be able to handle at all. And breaking up the states do have a right to tell the federal government no. However, they can't start a war with them, and they can't do something else, and they can't start a war with each other. Like I said, I'm still studying all that. But we don't want to divide. We just want to tell them no. And we have a right to. And we have a right to tell the elite, the powers that be that actually rule this world, we have a right to tell them no too. And that's why I say this can go for the whole world. You have rights. And there's a couple countries over there I think they all feel this way, the ones that really rule with a firm, ugly hand. Um, the guy said it on national TV. I listened to several different news channels from around the world. And he said, well, if slaves aren't smart enough to fight for themselves, then they deserve to suffer. Well, let me wake up the whole world. You're all slaves. And they're trying to really tighten the noose and control us. And God promised us 1,000 years of golden years. Not golden years for the elites to be the pharaohs, but golden years for the people. But the people are going to have to do their part. You know, God doesn't do it all by himself. He could, but he won't. He has left it to every individual at this point. And this is our turning point this year for your soul's growth and your personal growth. So, and for those of you out there that are atheists or whatever, well, let me tell you something. Be an atheist, that's fine. Anything's fine. All paths go back to God. The thing is that you need to be an active citizen of the United States of America and the world, Earth. And to do that means that you have to be a voice. You don't have to go do the parade, protesting and all that. And protesters out there, you gotta stop blocking traffic. All you just piss people off doing that. There's other ways. But the God will let each one of us choose on our own what path we're going to take. That's what we're allowed to do. But you will not be happy with this new world order at all. And because humans are accustomed to being family oriented and the ability to grow into whatever they choose to, especially in the United States of America. Do you want to stop being able to have a business or your chance at a business, that American dream, and a nice house, 2 kids and a dog, healthy food? I'm just saying, you can make a difference for yourselves right now. The world is getting ready to split this year. There will be those who have not done their shadow work, which is looking at all the things inside of yourself that you are not happy and you hate about yourself. And bringing them forward and facing them and blessing it and letting it go and forgiving yourself and then forgiving God in the end and then yourself again. Look it up. It's called shadow work. It's not about how mean you are or anything else. It's about how mean you are to yourself. Like all bullies out there, you're just little boys scared. So get some help so you quit being a bully. And anyway, it's real important. That's all I wanted to get through to you today, is that your future can be one way or another. When we go into 5D, we will have democracy. It'll be beautiful. We'll have a new world. And it'll still be hit and miss as far as getting it all right, but it'll be fun. And it can be the same way here for you guys. You just have to know what to do. And I wanted you to all know that you have rights. And it'll be up to you. But they have to stand down. If you say no, they have to stand down. They have no choice. You do have the power here. You just don't know it. And you don't have to do it in a mean way. And if you do it now, we can get it turned around now. You won't have to worry about it all going to hell. That's not what it was supposed to do. You're supposed to stop it. So that's all I got tonight. Lori out. Well, one more thing. Otherwise, go ahead and make a wish. I prefer to believe in faith and action. Our voices are only good when we use them for change, not bickering and not yelling. Using them with our local, state, and federal governments. Be part of the change. Now, that's all I have. Have a good night.